never suffer.
And we are off on this one, and this one is definitely long overdue. Today we have special guest Mike from Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. Mike, how are you, buddy?
I'm wonderful, man. Thank you so much for having me. Like you said, it's been a long time coming. I'm a huge fan of your channel, and I really appreciate you having me on.
Well, and I got to give a special shout out because this is why I'm so into networking. I had no idea who you or the Livingston Man or your channel or any of that until STP, until Southern Tier Prepper was like, hey, go check these guys out.
Awesome, man. It's and likewise, I had no idea about you guys until she said something to me. You have to go check out Rural 2IC. He's got an amazing channel over there, and lo and behold, awesome dude, awesome channel. You put out great content, man, thought-provoking stuff, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I appreciate that. And that's where it all comes. You have to give people a chance. Go through network, click on somebody that's new. And as you were in my live or your live, click on somebody, check them out, give them a chance and see how it goes. But in case somebody has been living under a rock like I was maybe a year and a half ago, and they don't know who you are, tell everybody about you.
Well, I'm Mike. I am one half of Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. My good buddy, the Livingston Man, helps me run the channel. He is an incredible editor, a very smart man, amazing with a camera, and his musical capabilities are off the freaking charts. So all of the music and stuff that you hear on Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival is all brand new. He just made it for the channel, and I think that's a great plus that we have. We kind of make our own music on the channel. We do a lot of editing. We're not like the typical preparedness channels. We try to have a little bit more fun with it and try and laugh a little bit because the stuff is so serious, man. You can really grind yourself into the dirt with it. So we base things on education, entertainment, and trying to have a good time while getting better prepared for whatever disaster we may face.
Which is absolutely something that I completely admire about both of you. You both are
Thank you.
very like-minded and you seldomly disagree, but you both have a very different thought process whenever you guys bring up a topic. And it's so inquisitive of just watching his point of view and your point of view. And as you guys talk it out, you're like, well, wait a second. You guys agreed, but you just had two different complete mindsets of how to reach the same goal. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it goes to show how versatile the preparedness community really is. Not everybody has the same thought processes. And again, we implore people, please, if this stuff isn't getting through to you and you know it, start your own channel because you may be the person that this resonates with. And you may be the person that sets that light bulb off for them and puts them on a path of preparedness that may one day save their lives.
Yes, I agree. And I had somebody that said, "Well, I don't have the time and everything to do all this channel and uploading and editing." And I was like, "Great. Find people and do lives with them. Just be special guests. That's all you have to do. There's plenty of
Yep.
people out there that are special guests that don't have their own channel or podcast, but you still have something important." So that was a really good point there.
Yeah, I think everybody's got something to offer, no matter how big or small. There's
Mhm.
there's something that that you can teach somebody that's going to help them in their lives. So it goes beyond preparedness. Even if it's just general advice and things like that. We're building a community here, so it goes well beyond preparedness.
Yes, I agree. Small caveat, I just noted if you can see it, the little duck logo is right above where the head's supposed to be on your logo.
Yeah, yeah, he looks good up there. He
That's
looks
good.
good.
That's good stuff.
Well, it's springtime. Come on, bring on the ducklings.
I love it. Well, and that will go right into the caveat. So you have kind of switched over and made an additional channel where you're doing much more of the outdoors and the
Yeah.
fishing and hiking and all that other stuff. Why don't you let everybody know about that? Because I think that is a very uh, diamond in the rough. People don't know about that and quite yet.
Right. So I'm an avid outdoorsman. I am a hunter. I am a fisherman. I love the outdoors, camping, hiking, all of it. It's the place that heals me. When I get into nature, I find that when I come home, I'm maybe tired for a little bit, but when I wake up the next morning, I'm refreshed and ready to get back at the world. And I put a lot of my hunting content on Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, and it really didn't get the play that I thought it would. I thought more people who were into preparedness would be into hunting and fishing and things like that, because I personally think it all ties together.
Hmm.
But it really didn't get the play that I thought it deserved. I put a lot of work into it. So I decided to start hunting the Hudson Valley, which is a whole different channel. And all I'll put there is my outdoor content, my fishing, my hunting, my experiences out in the outdoors, maybe a couple camping videos. We'll see. We'll see. It's new, and I'm excited for the future for it. That way, that content can kind of stand on its own and be its own entity away from Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival.
I like it, and it is. I've been watching it. I've been following it. It is.
Thank you.
I agree. It all ties into it, and I don't think there's a lot of people that understand that when it comes to preparedness and all this survival stuff, they think it's nothing but starting a fire, purifying some water, and chasing off, pillagers or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's more. It is building, carpentry, sewing, farm. It's everything rolls into it.
Yep.
And I enjoy that type of thing because it exposes people to more and more things.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the more versatile your skill set, the more valuable you're going to be in a catastrophe, in all
Mhm.
honesty.
Very much, very much. Well, and I have a question. So
Okay.
you are into we'll go with carpentry to really broad it out.
Okay.
You're more of a what'd you say, ceramic tile
Oh yeah,
specialty?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm a master tile mason by trade, but it turns out I can read a level better than most carpenters can. So
I love it. Okay, so you've got an incredible amount of skill, and you've got the voice that you could take Mike Rowe's job, and you've got all this stuff here. Why start a channel to talk about preparedness and do it for free?
it's it's something that I've always been passionate about,
Mhm,
and in New York State, man, you're so limited with the things that you can do here legally that preparedness is one of those things that kind of tiptoes the line here in New York State. And I got love for the people of New York State. The government in New York State's a little rogue, shall we say? But so I want to make sure I'm on the right side of that line, but I want to tiptoe right next to it and make sure that they know I'm here.
very
So
nice.
it's it's something that's always been ingrained in me. I've always had this urge that I should just prepare more, that I should stock more food, that I should grab more water, things like that. I don't know if it's a little voice in the back of my head telling me that, something bad could happen and this stuff will be beneficial, but it's always been there, and I couldn't not act on it anymore. And I got some encouragement from my good friend Greg, NY Prepper,
Mhm.
and the Angry Prepper. Those two gentlemen pushed me to start this channel, and I want to thank them for helping me get this thing started, and for all their support along the way, man. They've been huge supporters of me the whole entire time. Even before the channel started, I was friends with these guys, so it's great to have them in your corner, and they're amazing people. They're amazing people.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I was going to say because if I'm going to guess that you're going to be somewhat like me in the thought process of when you click on the new channel and you start watching their content pretty quickly, you can identify if they're genuine and sincere or if they're doom click, I want money.
Exactly. Exactly. Totally. Totally. And there's so many people out there who are just trying to sell you something.
Mhm,
Um, I have affiliate links. I have made networks with all kinds of people. And my goal with that is just to save you a dollar.
mhm,
If you need something from one of my links before you buy anything, please email me and ask me if there's a discount code, because that's my goal with this, is to get people the preparedness gear that they need for less than the knowledge for free. That's
mhm.
my 100% goal. Get it as cheap as possible. If you need it, it's there. Use it, and I'll do my best to save you a couple more bucks on top of that.
Which is exactly the thing between you and like Sarge is a great guy, ton
Yeah,
of
yeah,
affiliate links, but he's not trying to screw anybody over. Same with the Orlando Prepper, another one that I think is really good. So it's great to see that there's other people out there that's doing the right thing and just trying to help people out, as well as we get to have fun. Because if nobody
Yeah.
knows, you guys have a live stream on Wednesday that is an absolute blast. Do you want to talk about that one?
We do the We All Gonna Die Wednesdays. We started that initially just to make fun of the doom and gloomers, man. You know, it's like, man, what kind of title could we use for a Wednesday stream? And the Livingston Man came up with that. And I mean, it's got its own theme song now, so it's pretty wild. We try to have a good time with it. There's so many doom and gloomers out there, and to be honest with you, I think the biggest threat that we're going to face is probably a severe weather event
Hmm.
in your neighborhood, in your neck of the woods. So, you know, the proverbial bombs falling from the sky here in America, it seems far-fetched to a lot of people, and it turns them away from preparedness.
Hmm.
And then, you know, that freak storm comes and wipes out half of their town, and now they weren't prepared because, you know, somebody scared them away with the doom and gloom and the nukes are coming, you know. It sucks, man. I hate to see people push that doom and gloom and scare the average folks away from actually getting prepared and bettering themselves.
Hmm. Yeah, totally agree. There's a lot of different ways to prep. There's a lot of different avenues, techniques. Some it's going to be based on environment. You know, you're downtown New York City. Other ones you're in the middle of Wyoming. So everybody has to adjust. Prepping is extremely personal. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely, 100%. It is so personal. It's not even funny. For instance, my bug out bag, I'm sure it looks nothing like yours. And then you take somebody from the Northeast and try and compare their gear with somebody from, say, South Texas. It's not even in the same ballpark. We're facing total different challenges, total different hurdles. Sure, there is a base set of things that everybody should have. But as far as those are concerned, maybe you don't carry a ferro rod. Maybe you're just a flick the bick kind of
Hmm.
guy. Maybe you're a match guy. There's so many different ways to get to the same goal, and I think it's important for everybody to share those so that folks can find what's best for them.
Yes, very much so. I just did a video. I want to see your thoughts. And actually, I don't even think it's been released yet. But I went back and we was talking about the fundamentals, and I think people get misconstrued on fundamentals. And if we, I think I brought up the example of fire starting.
Mhm.
I treat it whenever I take somebody out like firearms training. You don't hand somebody a loaded firearm and say go to town. I don't hand somebody a big lighter and say go to town. We've got to start from the beginning. We got to find our fuel and a spot to start the fire and how to prep the fuel and how to maintain it once it's good. Then you get the big lighter. And so many people, the fun is the fire part, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Everybody wants to jump the gun. You know, the unfortunate thing is we live in an instant gratification society nowadays. People stand and tap their toe and wait for that 60 seconds on the microwave to finish so they can get their hot pocket out of there and eat that sucker as fast as possible. Everybody's in a hurry. Just slow down a little bit, especially when it comes to preparedness. If you're going 100 miles an hour, that's probably when you're going to make mistakes. That's
Mm-hmm.
probably when it's going to cost you some money because you didn't quite package that food right, or you stored it in a crummy place because you were in a hurry and it got too hot and now it's spoiled. So it's important to slow down, ask questions. Even if you're pretty sure of the answer, it's always good to run it past somebody and say, hey, what are your thoughts about this, man? Do you think I'm on target here? And run it past a couple people. And if they're in consensus with you, it's probably a great idea. Run with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I've done this too with other people. They get on and they watch some videos. Maybe they go and do some in person learning or whatnot, and they watch person after person after person get it right, but they just can't do it. It may be your level. Maybe you're just not to that level yet, even though it seems like it's rudimentary or it's elementary or whatever. Maybe you need to find a different method. Maybe that method just doesn't work for you. And I see this mistake all the time where people will go through and they will try something, they will fail once, twice, whatever, and then they're done. They're frustrated. They want that instant gratification.
Yeah, yeah. People get discouraged pretty easily nowadays, you know. So it's important to be persistent. But I like to say we don't fail, we learn. If I'm striking the ferro rod, I've had a couple instances in videos where I tried to do something and it didn't work out. So what I learned is that I need a ferro rod that throws better sparks, right?
Mhm.
And now I've got a ferro rod that throws amazing sparks, and I'm scared to death to strike it because everything around me is just going to burst into flames now. Um, it's it's a serious thing, preparedness, but you don't have to take it so seriously when you're learning it. Try and have some fun with it. Don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged because, like you said, it could be just maybe that's just above your skill set for right now. Just for right now. You're not quite there yet, but keep working at it. Eventually, you're going to get it. Eventually, the light bulb's going to go off and it's all going to come together for you.
Excellent. I like the way you put that. So you are, we're going to say, the average guy. You go to work and you provide for the family. You've got kids, you got a house, and all this other stuff. So my question, I guess, on this one is going to be: is the whole family on board? Is everybody in the household right there with you?
No, no, no. Just because I run a preparedness channel does not mean that everybody's on board with me. My daughter thinks I'm a loony. Um, so during the pandemic, my wife did come on board a bit. But of course, I'm still the crazy prepper dad. And, when they ask for something, it's all of a sudden, it's, oh, yeah, here, it's right here. Sorry, guys.
Yep.
Um, but it's interesting, man, because you don't have to cram it down people's throats. You
Yes.
have to, I compare preparedness to gardening. We have to plant the seeds of preparedness and water them to make sure that they grow. Um, During the pandemic, it was kind of self-watering seeds at that point. Everybody could look out their window and see what was going on, and you couldn't get away from it in the news. So it was very in your face. And I think it brought a lot of new people into
Mhm.
preparedness, which is really good, which is really, really good because let's face it, guys, stuff happens, man.
Mhm.
Um, and the more people that you can get on board with you in your home, in your neighborhood, in your neck of the woods is going to be beneficial if things really do go bad. So don't try to cram that stuff down people's throats. And you have to prepare. You have to prepare. They don't have to. They should. You should prepare. You should think about this and plant those seeds, man, and water them often. Always, always go back and say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that situation? And see what their thoughts are and see if
Mhm.
their mind is changing towards that preparedness type mindset.
I agree. And I gave out the advice. Somebody was in that kind of similar situation. Um, and, to take a step back personally, everybody that's behind me here in the household, they're not to my level because they're just like, oh, he's got it covered. So they're there, but they're not where I would like them to be. But that's okay. But I've given out the advice of, you can do things that are preparedness related that are really fun and get people involved. So go outside and have a paintball or a Nerf thing. It gets
Oh
people
yeah.
outside, it's exercise, it's fun, it gets everybody of all ages in there. And I actually had somebody come back and they was like, wow, that's super manipulative.
Well, kind of, but in a fun way. Junior's going to learn the difference between cover and concealment today.
Yes. Yes. I was like, I'm not trying to like recruit them for my secret like zombie army or something. I'm getting them outside, fresh air, exercise, laughter. Yeah. I was like, well, okay, well, I see your point of view, but I'm going to respectfully disagree.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. And I'm glad that you brought up the respectfully disagree part because it's super important. There's so many different ways to accomplish the goals,
Mhm.
and when you can agree to disagree and you both have a campfire going, what did it really matter in the end?
Yes.
My ferro rod wasn't much better than his Bic lighter, and his Bic lighter wasn't much better than my ferro rod, but
Yep.
we're both staying warm tonight and cooking some dinner over the fire. So
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
respect others' opinions, respect their choices. They choose that because maybe that's what they could afford at the time, or that's what works best for them. They don't have to buy the $1,000 bug out bag and the
Mhm.
$800 Geiger counter. They can get by with some simple things and be just fine.
Yes. Totally agree. And I'm actually kind of hoping that maybe, I don't know if you saw my video that I put out. Um, I bought one of those, I think it was $25 survival kit in a bag from wish.com,
All
and that's
right.
going to go with me to Vision Preparedness Bug Out Weekend. So if you would like, let's rip that thing open and let's put all that to the test.
Heck yeah, man. That's so awesome. I love doing those kind of tests. So I used to host the Bug Out Bag weekends once upon a time. They were free up here in upstate New York. I had a place that would allow us to use their property free of charge. It was fantastic, man. I had Bug Out weekends where it was just me and a friend. I had Bug Out weekends where it was just me that showed up and nobody else could make it. And then I had Bug Out weekends where there was 100 people in the woods with me. So don't quit, guys. Don't quit, please. If you're thinking about doing this, if one person shows up, it's a success.
Yes.
I often say if you don't have what you want around you in your neck of the woods, it's your time to build it.
Mm-hmm. Very, very true. Well, and since we're talking about Bug Out Weekend, let's kind of jump into that because Vision, now this is going to be my first time to go. So
Awesome.
I'm really excited, but Vision keeps saying that it all came to birth because of you.
Yeah. Yeah. It was something that we were doing here in New York. And he was like, man, I've been thinking about doing one of these things. And my response to him was, do it. Do it. Whatever you need, I'll help you with. If you set up a bug out bag weekend in Ohio, I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm going to bring my friends with me. So at the very first annual Vision Preparedness Bug Out Weekend, we rolled deep from New York out to Ohio and set up Camp New York. It was a fantastic experience. Totally a case of the student outdid the master. Visions was very well put together. Mine was kind of more a bunch of people hanging out in the woods trying out their gear. His was much more structured, more classes, um, way more structured than what we had going on, way more organized than what I had going on. It was like a free for all out here in the woods. And you get to Visions, and it's so organized, it's so well put together. He did a fantastic job, and he continues to do a fantastic job and improve on it every time he has another one. I know this will be the third annual bug out weekend, so I'm really looking forward to getting back out there.
Oh, I am too, and I'm really looking forward to not only getting to my first one, but if and say a little prayer because if I can get the last little niche to fall, I'm hoping to actually meet him out there and be one of the first on site, so I can do a bunch
Awesome.
of meet and greet and welcome everybody in and help everybody that needs help setting up and carrying things and all that. So we will
Fantastic.
hope.
Fantastic. It's a great time. That much I know for sure. It's free.
Yeah.
It's free. Go. There's a huge medical class going on there on Friday. I helped Trent put that together with one of our local trainers here from New York. He's going to travel out to Ohio and certify folks in first aid, CPR, AED, and a couple other things too. So he's looking to make the most out of these weekends so that the folks can get the most out of these weekends.
Yes, and that is something that if you don't have, you are completely doing yourself a disservice. That is something that can not only potentially save your life, one of a friend, a family, a neighbor, a coworker, but even a perfect stranger, and they will probably thank you that you went and got certified and could help them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's important to practice those skills that you learn. Put yourself through scenarios, try different things, work with your gear, make sure you have a decent first aid kit, things like
Mhm.
that. Stay organized, stay organized.
Excellent. Well, because I'm going to be talking to Vision very, very soon, but I want to get your take. So, me being a first timer, what are some of the things that if I'm watching this and I'm coming to Bug Out Weekend for the first time, or I'm thinking about doing it maybe this time or next time, what are some of the things I should bring with me?
You're going to want to bring everything you need to sustain yourself for the time there. This is not a place where you come and mooch off of other people's food and water and shelter. You have to bring your own shelter, you have to bring your own food, and you should bring your own water. You got to be able to sustain yourself for the time there. I can tell you from experience that the area is a large field with not very many trees around the outside. It's very brushy around the outside. So if you're a hammock bug out kind of guy, you might want to consider bringing a tent instead, because it's much more set up for tent camping than it is for hammocks and the such. So something to consider if you're going there for the first time. There is a bathroom on site. Composting, old school, right? Old school. Very little infrastructure there. You have to bring your own power supply. If you're planning on filming and recording things, you better have a bunch of battery banks or a big old Opus generator to power your stuff while you're out there. So definitely things to consider. Shelter, water, food in that particular order. Those are the most important ones. Um, and prepare for all weather. You know, we're out there for the duration of this thing. So it's springtime. It could rain. It could. I'm from New York. I don't even know the weather in Ohio in May. So I'm bringing like the snowsuit and the, you know, the silkies and the whole 9 yards, because I could be sweating. I could be freezing. I
Mhm.
don't know.
Yeah, that's smart. That's actually really smart. All right, so you covered those ones. What about some of the ones that maybe people are considering that aren't often talked about? So, should I bring something for if there's downtime or free time? Should I bring something for security sort of measures and things like that? Or should I bring like the most elaborate camping stuff where I'm going to have to go back and forth to the car like 20 times?
It's a bug out bag weekend, guys. The whole premise of this thing is to try to live out of your bug out bag for the duration of your stay there. I'm coming from pretty far away, so I'm glamping. I'm hosting a couple classes. I'm going to be glamping. I want to get some good sleep before I drive the 12 and a half hours back to New York. So I'm going to step it up a little bit, but I am going to bring my bug out bag along with me just to show everybody the stuff that I carry. I'm going to bring a scale for folks so you can weigh in your bug out bag and see actually how much it weighs, because people just throw stuff in it, man. They don't really pay attention. They throw it in their back. They're like, oh, that's heavy. And they don't realize that it weighs 76 pounds,
Hmm.
76 pounds. And half that stuff in there you probably don't need. Um, Duplicates are great at home. In your
Hmm.
bug out bag, you want to carry one good solid item of each. You don't want a half broken hatchet and another half broken hatchet and a half of a saw here and
Hmm.
half of a saw there. Get one good working saw, one good working hatchet, or figure out how to do things with less. You
Hmm.
know, lighten your load a little bit. It's going to be a fantastic time, man. I really can't wait for it.
Yes, yes, I completely agree. I've been doing little things here and there, and I'm going to tell you because one of the people gave me advice and they said, "Remember, your bug out bag should not be more than 30% of your body mass." And I'm like, "Well, thank God I'm a big guy, so that's a lot. It's a lot of poundage." But I have maybe 10 to 15% of the stuff that I'm bringing is mine. The
Right.
rest of it is all brand new stuff that I am going to test out for the very first time. So I'm going to warn everybody, I'm going to be a little overweight probably.
Awesome. Awesome. And this is the place, you know, bring yourself a shelter that you're comfortable with, that you know is going to work. And then when you have that set up, then it's time to try out that stuff that you have that's new that you're really not sure about. This is a
Mhm.
great place to do it because you are surrounded by people who can help you if you can't figure it out.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, because I was going to go minimalistic, but then somebody gave me one of them kind of camping army cot sort of things, and I was super excited because I'm getting a little older and sleeping on the ground just isn't, the same as it was back in the 20s.
Yep.
So the only problem is my army cot is 6 feet and a few inches, or 7 feet and a few inches, and my tent is 7 feet.
Oh,
So unless I leave my
pokes out the
feet
sides a
hanging
little
out,
bit.
yes. So I actually stumbled upon somebody getting rid of a much, much larger tent for really cheap. So I might look like I am glamping, and if I am, that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Different strokes for different folks, man. I've seen people come with the big canvas bell tents and set them up and put the wood stove in, and man, they have a great time. They have a great time. And then I've also seen folks come with a little light fighter one man
Mhm.
tent that you can barely fit in, and they had a great time. It's not about the size of the tent, it's about how much fun you have while you're out there.
Love it. Love it. All right. So keeping on theme, maybe I've never camped before. Maybe I've never gone away from home more than 24 hours or something. I need to eat. What is some of the ideas that I can do for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, things like that?
Freeze-dried foods, man. Freeze-dried foods are incredibly lightweight. Dehydrated foods, things like that. But when you pack these things, you have to remember that they are going to take and consume your water to reconstitute these things. So you have to plan additionally for that. And water is heavy. Uh, Filters aren't a bad idea. If you can bring a water filter and you know you have a water source, you may not have to pack as much water with you. Um, but I think freeze-dried foods are the way to go. They are so versatile nowadays. I can pack a small dry sack full of peak refuel meals
Hmm.
and have my breakfast, lunch, and dinner and eat restaurant quality food in the woods, no problems.
Yes.
But pack your snacks, pack everything that you
Hmm.
think you're going to need. You're driving there in a car, let's face it, we're not bugging out on foot. And if you're walking there, you are going to win the entire internet for a year because you did it real. I'll tell you that right now. But I think freeze-dried foods are the way to go. Granola bars, things like that,
Hmm.
lightweight things that you can stick in your pockets. Um, this can be as good of a training exercise as you want it to be for yourself. You can go out there and knuckle down and say, this is what I'm using, this is what I'm doing. Maybe
Hmm.
you can barter and trade with some of the folks that are there on site. Maybe I got a steak in the cooler and I'm cooking it tonight. And I'm like, hey, I'm not going to be able to eat all this. Rural, would you be interested in half a steak tonight? And you're going to look at your bag of freeze dried food and go, yeah, I really want half a steak tonight.
Yes. Yes. Well,
So, don't be afraid to network while you're out there, meet new people, shake hands. It's so important to build your community, guys.
and see, I'm bringing 1 to 2 extra meals just in case, because I've brought, um, I think every single one of my freeze dried meals is from a different company. So that way I
Awesome.
can kind of test it all out. One that I have never seen that somebody introduced me to is Camp Pizza. It is non refrigerated pizza.
No kidding.
Yes, so I am
That's what I'm talking
super.
about.
Yes, yes. It actually comes with 2 servings, so if you would like a taste, you can come on over. We'll share some pizza.
Fantastic.
But I am bringing extra snacks. So if somebody wants to barter, find Rural's tent, and we'll do some trading.
Awesome.
All
Awesome.
right. So he did mention that, or you mentioned that there is a compost toilet. So
Yep.
that kind of takes some of it off.
Yep. Men's and women's, actually. So,
There is well water.
yep.
Okay, so we have water, and I would still issue the challenge: bring your own water. Try not to use the
Oh,
well
yeah.
water. Now we don't have a shower, correct?
Correct. Correct. No
So
facilities there. There is a big old pond though, and I heard a rumor that somebody was trying to get me to go swimming.
I mean, I think the pot's up to like, I don't know, $100 now. So
Awesome. 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 If the weather's nice enough, bro, I'll jump right in with you. If we
we'll, we'll,
can, I don't want to get vision in trouble.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So again, somebody that's new, that's never been out, how would one go about personal hygiene if there's no shower house?
Oh, that's a huge thing, man. If you can bring your own solar shower to hang, especially if you have like a pop-up tent, a canopy or something like that you can hang it from, some sort of privacy curtain if you're thinking about really showering down. Otherwise, you're gonna have to grab yourself some baby wipes, some dude wipes, and just keep yourself as clean as possible. It's one thing that a lot of people don't take into consideration is when you're out there is that hygiene is huge, man. For food preparation, when you're out in places like that, wear rubber gloves if you
Mhm.
have them. Put some rubber gloves on. You don't, you touch that food, put those gloves right in the garbage or the fire or whatever you have to dispose of stuff. But cross contamination and things like that, people really don't think about it, and it's something that can really ruin your weekend. So please keep up on your hygiene, folks.
Yes, yes. Especially if you're going to do meet and greet and you're not going to shower, please meet me on day number 1 and not day number 3.
So true, so true.
Just saying. And I did just pop into my head in that little wish.com pack, they did put a emergency fishing kit in. So we may have to have some sort of like um,
Fishing
SHTF
tournament.
fishing contest.
Yeah, I'm about it. I'm
See
about it.
how that all works out. All right, so We've got all of the stuff that we're going to try and bring and all the different things about it and covering the food and the water and everything along those lines. So now that we are there, I assume day one we kind of say hello and get set up. What does day two bring us?
Day two is going to bring everybody the medical class. That's a big one for day two. That's going to encompass the whole day and part of the evening. And if you have not signed up for the medical class with Travis, I highly suggest that you do.
Yes.
Um, it's super important to get that training. So many people have the IFACs and have no idea how to use
Yeah.
any of the stuff that's in it. You know,
Hmm.
aside from Band-Aids and taking Advil, that's the extent of their medical training.
Hmm.
Um, Super important, man. It like you said earlier, it's going to save someone you love or maybe even a total stranger. And for those who are not doing the health and safety class, which is what Travis has decided to call it, because it's going to encompass a lot more than just the CPR, AED, and first aid. I will actually be teaching a bug out bag class, and we're also going to do some basic fire starting there. So if you're available, I'm sure I'm going to have a big crowd. I'm always looking for an extra set of hands.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I when I first did this, I had somebody actually ask me as soon as I said I was going to Vision. They're like, "What class are you teaching?" And I'm like, "No, this is year one. I want to just enjoy." So, if that ever becomes an honorary thing that Vision asks, that's cool. Year number one, I just want to be one of the people. And I get this is like one of the first
Yeah.
times as being a content creator, you know how you get asked on different things. This is
Oh
that
yeah.
time for me. I get to step back for once and I'm going to enjoy it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't know anybody who's been to one of these who didn't have a good time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there if your tent fails, if anything goes wrong, there's so many people there who just want to see you succeed.
Hmm.
I will not let you fail. I know Vision will not let you fail. We are going to help you get done whatever you need because the community is already there and
Hmm.
we are resourceful.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm packing a few extra things that I know that I hopefully will not need. I will have tarps and duct tape and various things. So we will make sure that somebody is good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No man or woman left behind.
Yes, very much. So then we get into Saturday, and what do you know anything about Saturday's events?
I know there's a couple classes going on, but yeah, I know Vision had talked about being a little more social this time around. That
Ooh,
he wants to leave a lot more room for people to network, to meet with each other,
love it.
just to hang out and fellowship. You know, it's huge. We're so busy in our lives that we don't get
Hmm.
to do that a lot. So he wants to make sure that we can take the time to slow things down and everybody can really enjoy themselves.
Oh, I like that. That right there. That's somebody that's learning from experience because
Yeah,
I was hoping
yeah.
that there would be that free time to be able to do that good mingling and not be rushed and things like that. So I also heard there is a special thing. What is it? Saturday night of the no
Oh yeah.
filming and
That's right. That's right. Saturday night, everybody puts their cameras and their listening devices away. Leave them in your tents, and we all go have a big adult fireside chat around the big campfire there. So the thing about these Ohio parks is you can't have individual campfires. There's one spot for the campfire, you know, and to gather the community around the campfire, there's something almost primal
Mhm.
about all those people being around the campfire. There's a lot of good ideas that come out of that. And it's fantastic to hear everybody's opinion. And you know, you just pass around the talking stick. That way, nobody talks over each other. You raise your hand and you wait for the talking stick to come across to you. Um, awesome conversation, and that's all I can say about
No, no, I love it. That leaves enough that if you want to know more, you need to go to Bug Out Weekend.
that's right. You got to be there. Got to be
Yes,
there, 100%.
yes, absolutely. So on this, because you said that you have had your bug out weekends and then Vision went and did his, do you still do your bug out weekends?
So I haven't had one in a couple of years. The place that we used to host them was leased out by somebody else. and it's nice to see the paintball facility actually playing paintball again.
Yeah.
So while I'm a little taken back because we don't quite have the property that we used to, I'm still very happy for them to see the business thriving and flourishing. And I promise we'll be back. Um, I'm totally looking for new places to have events, and we get a lot of people from the city that come to our events because we're only 2 hours north of New York City. And a lot of folks come and they're like, "Hey, where's the bathroom?" And I'm like, "Well, pick a tree, my friend." But I would like to have something a little more established, kind of like what Vision has going on out there in Ohio, and see if I can get these things back together again. I'm actually talking with the Angry Prepper now about trying to find a location for some sort of a New York State preparedness extravaganza, Prepper Fest. We'll call it Prepper Stock because we're New
Ooh,
York.
love it. Love it. That's a good one. Yes. Um, what else did I? Oh, I want to touch on you guys network really well in that you do a special show called The Four Horsemen. So what is that
Yeah.
about?
The Four Horsemen. That was something we just got together on a whim. A couple content creators, myself, Vision Preparedness, the roaming prepper, Pete, what a great guy, and my good buddy, the Livingston Man, of course, he is the fourth horseman. And we host those podcasts on Tuesday nights, and we do a round robin. So it's on each person's channel once a month. And well, if we can get together once a month, we try to pause if somebody can't make it and then pick up again the following week. But the Four Horsemen is awesome, man. We go into that thing not knowing what the questions are going to be. Whoever the host is for that week has to come up with some questions or scenario based things. And we start the whole podcast, and then the host is going to drop some questions on us throughout the podcast. And it's up to you to figure that out on the spot right now.
Yes. I see so many people, and especially now with AI, uh, AI is a wonderful tool. Don't get me
Hmm.
wrong. I still think it's evil, but you can have it do your opening intro and music and a great backdrop, and you can have it do a script, and you can watch their eyes go like this, and it's soulless. I can't get
Yeah.
anything out of those.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough. I personally like thought provoking conversation. It gets the gears turning. If you
Mhm,
see somebody ask me a question, I'm like, oh, I really
mhm,
gotta ponder this for a second. I might not have an answer right off the cuff, um, but as we go around, everybody puts out great information and their own individual thoughts on it.
mhm,
It's not somebody else's thoughts, which is what I really like about it, and hopefully learn some new things from the
mhm.
guys, from the audience. I learn things from folks in the chat all the time, man, all the time. They're like, hey, yeah, but did you try this? And I'm like,
Yep.
oh my God, that works so much better. Where was this my whole life?
Mhm.
Time after time after time, I've learned new things from anybody and never stop learning, guys. If you think you know it all, you don't. I promise you don't.
Yes, and I really appreciate the panel thing because it gives you that real insight into each individual person, and it's that right on the spot. You can really tell about somebody when you ask them a question and all of a sudden they have to find their notes or they pass, I can't think of anything. When you have
Yep.
somebody that takes that minute and kind of stares off for a second and then starts articulating the way all four of you do, it is
Yeah.
beautiful to see everything being relayed out. And I'm going right there. That is absolute 100% concrete proof that all four of these gentlemen are the real deal.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We did a panel on Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival a long time ago, bro. I'm talking like maybe our first year out. Super star studded cast. We had 13 participants in it here on StreamYard, and it was the most well put together panel I have ever seen in my life. Some of the greatest content, the Angry Prepper, New York Prepper, the Roaming Prepper, so many amazing channels on that panel, and we went around, and it was so well hosted because everybody has their own opinion, and they
Mhm.
don't need to talk over somebody else to get their opinion out. They can wait till it gets to them, and then tell everybody what they think.
Yes.
Super important to let other people talk and let them say what they need to say.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a lot that I've seen different podcasts and different other things. Somebody will say something, is a bug out bag important, and they've got to talk over them because I can't have you take my talking points, you know.
Yeah.
But you watch the other people, we can all say yes, but in our own individual way and get other points out and other ideas and get things flowing. I don't know how many panels I've been on where somebody says something and I'm like, why have I just now heard about this?
Yeah. Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. There's a lot of great ideas out there from folks in the preparedness community. And sometimes it just takes these panels for people to find other content creators that they fall in love with, and they get them and they understand their ways and their means. And now everything's coming together for me because, well, Rural 2 IC told me that maybe I should try this. And now, man, that works great, Rural. I can't thank you enough for your recommendation. And my life is so much better now because of you. Thank you. I love
Yes,
seeing that. I love
yes.
seeing that. I love
Until
seeing
you
other
get the
channels win. I love sharing content from great channels like yours and everybody else. If you see something that I post, it's an awesome channel.
oh yeah,
Believe it.
and
Well,
and
it
I
is to me anyway.
and I love the way that you deal with the negativity and the trolls. We're on the internet. You're going to have it. I
Yeah.
love the way that Livingston Man did his, little trolls 101 video.
Oh
Um,
man, he's
and
hilarious, isn't he?
it's beyond hilarious actually the way he did it. Um, and even mine, I put out my video on. I wanted my people. If you were going to take the time out to watch me, I want your opinion on Bug Out Weekend. What content do you want to see? What do you want me to bring? What do you want me to test and things like that? And I had somebody go, "No, I'm unsubscribing because you're the creator. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to put out content. We're not supposed to do the work for you." And I was like, "I've never had this type of troll. I don't know how to do this."
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, well, that be the case, I guess I'm just going to do this then. It's funny,
Yeah.
man. People come sometimes and they just want to get a rise out of you, or say something derogatory. That do you think he really unsubscribed? I don't know. I mean, I all in all honesty, I love my subscribers. I
Mhm,
get a lot of folks that come through. If I'm wrong, they will check me and let me
mhm,
know I'm wrong and tell me, hey, Mike, you got this wrong. And I've got no problem going back and doing a retraction video and letting people know, hey, I got this wrong, and so told me, and thank you so and so for
mhm,
letting me fix the error in my ways. I am not too proud to say I'm wrong.
mhm,
I am not too proud to say I don't know enough about that. You're going to have to ask Rural because I don't know enough, and that's his wheelhouse. So he's going to be better served to help you than I can. Um, and some folks, if you guys have seen the channels, they'll try and bullshit you and bullshit you and bullshit you, and just like they
mhm,
know what they're doing. And like you said, you can see them reading the screen. I do put notes on the computer from time to time to read during some of the stories, and I love to read news stories.
mhm,
It's so blatantly obvious to see when I'm reading a news story. Um, because I stumble over words all the time. I'm like, oh, I don't even know what that says.
mhm. Yep, yep. Yeah, and I have a different layout because I'm sure you have it, and everybody. We all have our own things, and the stuff to try and be entertaining. I do. I can't read a script usually. It's not who I am, but I
Mhm.
usually have little talking points here. And so that's what
Awesome.
somebody that will go, oh, well, when you talk, you're doing this. I'm going, yes, I'm trying to remember the one thing I wanted to talk about. And that little thing, it's usually one word or a phrase. And I've had people that they accuse me of things. I'm like, I can do a 360 and show you
Oh yeah.
because my mind is a bag of squirrels on like 50 monster drinks. So I have to have those little reminders to go ask Mike about this.
Exactly, exactly. It's always good to leave yourself notes, and it's easy to get off track,
Mhm.
especially when you have a live chat scrolling.
Oh,
Because
yes.
the people in there, man, those are my friends. I've become friends with those people over the years. Most of my subscribers who are in the chat have been there since day one for the
Mhm,
most part. So I love and I appreciate them. I value their opinions. I want to see what they have to say. And it's very easy for me to get drug into the chat and get off topic and completely forget about what I was talking about.
yep.
Um, because I appreciate hanging out with the folks in the chat, man.
Mhm.
That's what I'm here. I'm here for them, and they're here for me. And if we're not communicating together in the chat, it just
Yep.
feels weird to me.
Yep. It does. It does. And I love the live streams, just that interaction, because it's like being on panel. I don't know what I'm going to get asked. And
Yeah,
a lot of times it's really good stories. It's not just prepping related. Somebody had a really good day, and hey, let's highlight that. Awesome. There's so
yeah,
much doom and gloom. There's so many things, and I've seen people become best friends in somebody else's chat.
yeah.
Come
Very
hang out.
true. Yeah. Well, you could find your next preparedness partner in your neck of the woods in
Hmm.
anybody's chat. You never know.
Yes.
You never know. You
Yes.
just chime in and say, "Hey, New York checking in here. How's everybody doing tonight?" And then next thing you know, there's 15 different comments from 10 different people asking, "What part of New York are you from?" There's a
Yep.
bunch of New Yorkers in here. And turns out, well, Rick lives right down the road here, and he's been prepping for 22 years, and he could use a hand putting his garden in. So I'm going to go help Rick, and we're going to put some plants in his garden, and he's going to give me some things for mine. And sometimes it just all works out like that, man. The
Yes.
universe works in strange and mysterious ways.
Yes, it does. Yes. Where are we? Okay, we still got time. So you have been established for a while. You've got several thousand subscribers and all that, but you, like me, like every other person, we started at one. So let's
That's
go
right.
back to those early days. And
Mhm.
what was it like for you just getting everything started and up off the ground?
So I had a hard time, honestly, talking to the camera. It
Yeah.
felt really strange to me to pick up one of these action cams and stand here and talk to it. It
Yeah.
was weird, and
Hmm.
you have to remind yourself that you're not talking to that camera. That on the
Hmm.
other side of that camera, there is a whole audience of people who want to hear what you have to say.
Yep.
Whether you think so or not, they're there, and they are there for you, and they want to
Mhm.
hear what you have to say. So let them hear it. That's a big one for me. The other thing is I spent a lot of money on equipment and stuff like that early on to start the YouTube channel. You don't need it. Your
No.
phone is good enough. The microphone on your phone is fine. Maybe you want some sort of gimbal so you can walk without the bouncy
Hmm.
shaky. But that's about it, man. You can really get this started with very little, and I highly encourage that you do. We need more folks here because I'm one of I have 7,000 subscribers, but I've been on YouTube for almost 5 years, and I have been grinding. I am one of the most suppressed channels that you're going
Hmm.
to find on YouTube. You might have to type in the whole entire Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. When you get to the L, I may pop up if you're lucky. Otherwise, you're going to have to go search me through other means. Again, I tiptoe that line here, and it's gotten me some visits from some people because I tiptoe that line. So, um, yes, they are listening. So
Hmm.
watch what you say.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. And it's
But
one of those.
hey,
Yeah.
do it. Do it. Please start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We want to
Yeah.
see what you have to say. I promise I do.
Or
I'll come
be a special
subscribe right
guest.
now. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. You no problem coming on Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, that's for sure.
Hmm. And that's the fun part of watching some of these new people. I've watched and I've had the privilege of STP coming on and STP revealing herself, because for a while she did not want her face shown and things, and I get it.
Yep.
Um, but to watch some of these new people, we've been there, to look at that
Oh yeah.
little dot right there and know that the thing's recording and the lights and all that other stuff and the
Yep.
way you feel now. If somebody turns a camera around, they're like, "Hey, Mike, do you feel any different?"
No, no,
Yeah.
I am completely and totally numb to the fact that there is a camera there now. I always tried to be myself. I never wanted to play something, but in
Yes.
the initial early stages, you could tell there was some awkwardness there that I wasn't really comfortable with the camera in my face. I wasn't comfortable on a live stream. I'm much more comfortable now. It
Yeah.
doesn't really phase me because I talk about this stuff all the time,
Yeah.
whether the camera's on or not. So it's second nature at this point.
Yes. Yes. And I've actually had somebody ask me, being in preparedness, it's not like the news or other things where it's constantly evolving and changing. how is it that channels, because I just had my second birthday on YouTube. You've been on there for
Happy
5
birthday.
years, and thank you.
Happy birthday,
So
man.
how is it that you come up with new and original content?
I don't make videos for other people. I
Yes.
make them for me. I make them for me because if I'm trying to make something for somebody else, I feel that it crushes my creative process.
Hmm.
Um, Listen, everything in preparedness has been done. It's all been talked about before, but it's never been talked about by you. If you
Hmm.
haven't made that video before, that's the only thing that doesn't matter. Um, I promise you, you may be the person who gets through to somebody with just the way that you talk about it, the way you are presenting the information.
Hmm.
It's super important that you give it a shot.
Yes, fully agree. And the same thing we went back and talked about with the medical. You saving that perfect stranger could be the person that comes out with the next latest and greatest survival gear, or thing like that. You not helping them, that thing may never get created. And then the shoe on the other foot, what happens if it's your wife or husband is the perfect stranger? To have that
Yep,
person have that medical training that they helped somebody in need that you care about.
that's right. That's right.
Yes.
Get all the skills you can, guys. It's so important to get it now before disaster strikes.
Yeah.
Um, and like we talked about earlier, I think the most likely event that somebody's going to see in their lifetime is extreme weather.
Hmm.
Um, so floods happen, tornadoes happen, hurricanes happen, blizzards happen, ice storms take down grids every year,
Yes.
and it's important to be able to respond to those things. It doesn't have to be this giant warehouse full of freeze dried foods and I've
Hmm.
got 700 Berkey water filters over there. It can
Hmm.
be as simple as I bought some stuff from my Patriots and I have this water filter
Hmm.
and I have a plan.
Yep.
That's what's most important. Have a
Yes.
plan.
Yes. So you're telling me though that I shouldn't be preparing for zombies?
Oh, totally.
Okay.
Totally. I think zombies is a metaphor for unprepared individuals.
Yes. Yes. All the people that are walking around like this all day long and not knowing what's going on around them.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Those who lack the situational awareness. That's a big one.
Yes. And I actually was at a class not too long ago where they were doing a demonstration, then going around and having people come up and try it. You get firsthand knowledge, so you can do it. And they came across somebody and they politely declined, and they said, "Are you sure?" And they said, "Yeah, I've already seen it on YouTube. I don't need it."
Oh,
Yeah.
well then.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
that was my answer. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I much prefer the hands-on skills. I'm the type of person when I get a new piece of gear, the first thing I want to do is rip it out of the package, take it outside, set it up, and play with it.
Yep.
Maybe it's just the kid in me, but I don't want to leave it in the plastic. I don't care about the plastic that it came in. Do I want to protect this piece of gear? Do I want to care for it? Yes. Am I
Hmm.
afraid about getting it dirty? Maybe. But it's an awesome piece of gear, and eventually it's going to get dirty. So let's baptize this sucker. Get it
Yeah.
out there.
Yes. Yes. Which I will ask this before we wrap up. Have you heard, and this is might show you're in my age here, um, the next thing to actually become obsolete is the pencil.
Really?
Yes. Yes. There
Why?
is people that I have talked to in the younger generation, the 20, 18-year-olds, even younger. You don't write things down. Your phone, you just
Yeah.
tell it the notes and things
Hmm.
like that. You learn online, so you type out your notes, you record notes, you don't write
Mm,
anymore.
very interesting. I did see we have seen the demise of cursive language, right?
Hmm.
They don't teach that in schools anymore. So you might not be wrong. It could very well be the next step. Save pencils now. Let's get it going.
Yes, hashtag
We can
save the
start the
pencil.
movement, Rural. Let's go.
Yes, that's going on a t-shirt. Hashtag save the pencil.
That's right. Save pencils.
Excellent. All right, so we are winding down. um we'll start with, where can everybody find you at, and all those places to contact you and everything.
Okay, well, you can email me, Hudson Valley Prepping Survival at gmail.com. You can obviously find me on YouTube at Hudson
Mhm.
Valley Prepping and Survival. You can find us on Instagram, Hudson Valley Prepping Survival, Facebook group, Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. There's two of them. There's a private one and a public one. And then there is also the Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival online yard sale page for folks who are looking for cheap preparedness gear. We try to share things locally that we find here in the Valley that could be of preparedness value to somebody, and share them to the page there when we come across them, whenever you're, floating through the marketplace. We're also on TikTok, Patreon. We are trying to be everywhere, and very soon, very, very soon, we will be relaunching Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival.com.
Ooh, love it. Love it.
It already exists, but it's extremely old and dated. If you want to see my early stuff, check out Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival.com. It's cringeworthy, so you might get a kick out of it.
Which I'm gonna ask one last question before we go. Have you ever sat down on maybe a rainy Tuesday or whatever and watched one of your very first videos you posted?
Yeah, it's rough to watch. It's rough.
Yeah, it is.
The very first live stream was great. It was like a total disaster, and I was like, "Oh, Livingston, man, just come over here." But so much growth from the original days till now, and it's been a blast, man. And I am not giving up anytime soon. They can suppress the channel till kingdom come. I've already built my community of amazing people here on YouTube, and I'm always looking to add new amazing people to that community. So come on by. We'll welcome you home.
I love it. Well, we have hit our hour. I don't want to keep you. I know you're a very busy man, so I'm going to give you last and final thoughts on whatever you would like to do to end this, sir.
Let's see. Keep your family close, guys. They are the ones that you are going to have to count on when things are bad. The people in your household. Make sure you care for each other, you love each other, and you look out for each other. And don't forget about your neighbors, guys. Don't forget about your neighbors. Community first. Community first.
I love it. I love it. It doesn't matter who you watch on YouTube or wherever. They can have 100,000 plus subscribers. They can have movies and awards and all this other stuff. When it hits the fan, they don't know you. They're not going to be right beside you giving you advice.
Yep. So true. So true.
Yes. So, all right. Well, I'm going to thank you, sir, so much for spending a little bit of time and giving everybody insight into you and all of your wisdom. We'll have to set up a live stream. I'm sure everybody would love to just bombard you with questions.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Thank you so much for having me, and I really appreciate you having me on the channel.
Absolutely. Sorry. So we are out, guys. So I appreciate it again for everybody that come and watch this and hang out and all the fun stuff. So with that, I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you have a blessed day. Stay tuned because there's going to be much more information from the both of us here. And with that, remain united because we're all prepping in this together.